Good day everyone. This video presented by the Group 2, created by Eprikaslin A. Cabisas together with Renner Villara and Shaina San Auditor. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe everyone. Talking about what is morality. In Collins English Dictionary, morality is the belief that some behavior is right and acceptable and that other behavior is wrong. To go beyond, we are now talking about James Rachels and Stuart Rachels. James Rachels was an American philosopher who specialized in ethics and animal rights, while Stuart Rachels is a university teacher and an American philosopher and international master of chess. He is the son of the philosopher James Rachels. James Rachels also have a book which is called The Elements of Moral Philosophy, while Stuart Rachels revised The Elements of Moral Philosophy in 5th to 9th edition and is a best-selling text for undergraduate courses in ethics. James Rachels and Stuart Rachels, it explains a number of moral theories and topics, including cultural relativism, subjectivism, divine command theory, ethical egoism, social contact theory, utilitarianism, Kantian ethics, and deontology. Moving forward to the problem of definition, there are many rival theories expounding a different conception of what it means to live morally, and any definition that goes beyond to create simple formulation how we ought to live is bound to offend at least one of them. Second, Rachels proposes a minimum conception of morality, a core that every moral theory should accept at least as a starting point, of which means morality is the effort to guide one's conduct by reasons while giving equal weight to interests of each individual affected. Rachels asserts that morality is conduct guided by impartial reason, an effort to guide one's conduct by reasons, a set of standards that enable people to live cooperatively in groups. James Rachels suggested two criteria fulfilling a minimum conception of morality, which is reason and impartiality. Using the reason, which means by Rachels that a moral decision must be based on reasons acceptable to other rational persons. Rachels is trying to give us a definition of morality that could have many people as possible will agree. The first example is Baby Teresa. This is the first moral problem that Rachel talks about. Baby Teresa's complete name was Teresa Ann Campo Pierson. Who is Baby Teresa? Baby Teresa was an encephalic child born on March 21, 1992. She was born at Broward General Medical Center weighing 4 pounds and 1 ounce. Baby Teresa was delivered by a cesarean with section in an attempt to preserve her organs. Baby Teresa died 9 days later on March 30, 1992. Anencephalic infants, babies without brains. Anencephaly is among the worst congenital disorders where the important parts of the brain is the cerebrum. Her parents decided that before she died, they wanted to donate her organs to children who might benefit from transplantation. Physicians were in support of parents' decision, but Florida law forbids the removal of organs until the donor is dead. Baby Teresa died after 9 days. Her organs were too deteriorated to be harvested or transplanted. Surprisingly, few ethicists sided with the parents and physicians. First, it just seems too horrifying to use people as means to other people's ends, which is like if a person agrees to someone using him and understands her ends in doing so. Second, it's unethical to kill person A to save person B. Third, what the parents are really asking for is kill this dying baby so the organs will be used for someone else. Well, that's really a horrendous proposition, to be followed by the benefits argument. We also want to know whether those arguments are any good. The first benefits argument is if we can benefit someone without harming anyone else, we ought to do so. Second, transplanting that organs would benefit the other children without harming baby Teresa. Last, therefore, we ought to transplant the organs. What about baby Teresa's life? Isn't being alive better than being dead? Only if being alive allows one to have a life, to carry on activities and have thoughts, feelings, and relations with other people. In the absence of such things, mere biological life is worthless. Last, the argument that we should not use people as means, for it is wrong to use people as means to other people's ends. Second, taking Teresa's organ should be using her to benefit other children. Therefore, it should not be done.
Good day everyone, so I am Shane Auditor, and today I'm gonna be tackling about how is baby Teresa being used. Vague sense of use. What does it mean? Violating baby Teresa's autonomy. Baby Teresa has no autonomy to violate. She has no preference about anything, nor has she ever had any. The argument from the wrongness of killing. It is wrong to kill one person to save another. Taking Teresa's organs would be killing her to save others. So taking the organs would be wrong. They hold the wrongness of killing should be explained by reference to the harm that killing causes to the person who dies. And the only harm of these sorts that killing causes, they argue, is the harm of being totally disabled. Once one is totally disabled, there is no further harm to one losing in one's life. However, shouldn't there be an exception to the rule? Baby Teresa is not conscious. She will never have life. She is going to die soon anyway, and taking her organs would help other babies. Should we regard baby Teresa as already dead? Perhaps we should revise our definitions of death. Another example is the case of Judy and Mary. The infants known as Mary and Judy were joined at the lower abdomen. Their spines were fused, and they had only one heart and one set of lungs between them. The doctor said that without intervention, both girls would die within 6 months. An operation to separate them would save Judy, but Mary would die immediately. The parents, devout Catholics, refused the permission to operate. They were overruled by the courts, and Judy lived and Mary died. So this case received lots of attention from moral philosophers. The argument that we should save as many as we can. There is a choice, save one or let both die. Isn't it plainly better to save one? Not from the parents' perspective. In this sense, Mary would not be killed on purpose. That is, the doctor's action do not attempt to kill her. These actions do not aim to her death. This is true. The doctors try to aim or intend to save her sister. Their goal is not to kill Mary. They know that Mary will die as a result of what they are about to do. They foresee this result, but they do not aim at it. The argument from the sanctity of human life. All human life is precious, regardless of age, race, social class, or handicap. The prohibition against killing innocent human is absolute. Mary is an innocent human being, therefore she should not be killed. It is always wrong to intentionally kill an innocent person, or more generally, to aim at the destruction of basic human goods such as life or just society. Principle of double effect. When our action does not intentionally kill anyone and this person's death is but forcible but not intended, effect this action is permissible provided that it brings about overall favorable results. Good balance of benefits and harms. Another example is the case of Tracy Latimer. Tracy Latimer, a 12-year-old victim of cerebral palsy from Saskatchewan, was killed by her father in 1993. She had the mental life of a 3-month-old baby and was in constant, severe pain. Mrs. Latimer supported her husband. The Supreme Court of Canada required the mandatory sentence be imposed, and he got 25 years. The wrongness of discriminating against the handicapped people should be treated in the same way as everyone else. When Tracy was killed, she was not treated in the same way as everyone else. Therefore, killing her was wrong.
However, Tracy was not killed because of her cerebral palsy but because of her pain and suffering, and because there was no hope for her. The slippery slope argument: if we accept any sort of mercy killing, we will slide down a slippery slope, and in the end, all life will be held cheap. Where will we draw the line? What about other disabled people, the elderly, the infirm, and other useless members of society? Beware of slippery slopes. This kind of argument is all too easy to abuse. If you are opposed to something but you have no good arguments against it, you can always make up a prediction about what it might lead to, and no matter how implausible your prediction is, no one can prove you wrong. Reason and impartiality. Moral judgment must be backed by good reasons. Morality requires the impartial considerations of each individual's interest. Just like what Albert Einstein said, if people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot ended. Moral reasoning. So, what is moral reasoning? Moral reasoning is we cannot rely on our feelings no matter how powerful they might be. Our feelings may be irrational and may be nothing but products of prejudice, selflessness, or cultural conditioning. Our decision must be guided as much as possible by reason. The morally right thing to do is always the best supported by the arguments. How can we tell if an argument is really good? Get the facts straight. Bring moral principles into play. Are they justified, and are they being correctly applied? The requirement of impartiality is each individual's interests are equally important, and no one should get special treatment. If there is no good reason for treating people differently, then discrimination is unacceptably arbitrary. The minimum concept of morality is what the very least, the effort to guide one's conduct by reason. That is, to do what there are the best reasons for doing, while giving equal weight to the interest of each individual affected by one's decision. The conscious moral agent. So what is the conscious moral agent? The conscious moral agent is concerned impartially with the interest of everyone affected by what he or she does, carefully sifts facts and examines their implications, accepts principles of conduct only after scrutinizing them to make sure they are justified, is willing to listen to reason even when it means revising prior convictions, is willing to act on the results of this deliberation.
I know